Hey everyone, welcome back. So I'm currently in New York City. The World Rapid Blitz tournament starts tomorrow. I'll be playing the first day of Rapid Chess. But before we get to that, I did promise you guys my second game against Fabiano Caruana. So let's hop into it. If you saw my previous video, you'll know that I defeated Fabiano at a local Blitz tournament at the St. Louis Chess Club. So this is our second game. It was a double round tournament. After our first game finished, we switched sides. I now have the black pieces, and I wanted to beat Fabiano twice in a row. But meanwhile, Fabiano wanted revenge. So we shake hands, the game begins, and he plays the English opening. I play e6, and I go to transposition of the Queen's Gambit declined. He plays the exchange variation, bishop g5. This is still opening theory. I was deciding which line to play, but I played my most common line, pawn c6, and I go for bishop d6, a cute sideline. And he actually told me after the game that he was not prepared specifically for this variation. And yeah, he thought a little bit before playing knight f3. Now I'm still in my prep, play bishop e6. And then he played a move which is actually the best move in the position, knight to e5. I was prepared with pawn to c5. And now it's a really interesting battle in the center. I'm trying to undermine his center pawn on d4, but he's trying to achieve a grip on a center with his knight on e5. He does have a bit more space in the position. He castles kingside. I play knight c6. We trade on c6, and then we trade on c5. Now, I thought briefly here because I was looking at bishop takes h2 tactics, which don't actually work for me because, yeah, he would not allow that. So I took back on c5, he played rook c1, and we got a position where it's kind of tricky. He's applying pressure on the c-file. This position was actually reached between Ding and Jeffrey Zhang a few years ago. I played bishop e7, which I believe is a novelty. He plays knight a4. So trying to control the square on c5, plant a knight on c5, which would be a very strong positional asset for white. And in this position, I'm out of prep. I was on my own. I'm trying to figure out how to combat his positional idea of playing knight c5. Now my c6 pawn is also attacked, so I defended it with my rook. And then he goes in with knight c5. And I'm already feeling a little bit uncomfortable here. I trade on c5, getting rid of his knight, but conceding the bishop pair. But after queen d6, I am simultaneously attacking his rook and unpinning my knight from f6. And he hesitates. Because if he moves his rook, I can eventually play pawn c5. And if he supports his rook, then I did have a plan in mind. He does defend his rook with his queen. And yeah, there's a move I play here, knight to d7, provoking rook a5. And now we get a really weird, kind of interesting situation. His rook is on the edge in my territory, attacking my pawn on a7. And I'm trying to figure out if I can gambit the pawn. And I do by playing pawn c5. In my mind, I'm saying, oh no, my a7 pawn. And this was somewhat of a semi-bluff. I was aware he can take it and probably get away with it. But at the same time, it looks very risky for white to take the pawn on a7 because I'm grabbing space in the center. Pawns on d5 and c5 looking really nice. And I was about to blitz out c4, but yeah, I do play c4 relatively quickly, attacking his bishop, and now forcing him to maybe make an uncomfortable decision. He goes back to e2. And in this position, I realize there's a very strong move for black, pawn to d4. And at this point, I'm feeling really good because if he takes on d4, I take back with my queen, attacking his bishop on h4 and his rook on a7. So my d4 pawn is untakeable. And meanwhile, I'm threatening pawn d3 to get a defended pass pawn in the center. Now he plays bishop f3, which is a good move, avoiding the fork. And I could play pawn d3 immediately, but I was looking at other options. And I'm definitely feeling the nerves of playing the second best player in the world. And it felt like I have the edge, but I was trying to figure out how to maximize my advantage. And instead of playing pawn d3, I play queen b6. And admittedly, I completely overlooked this move, rook to b7. And at this point, I thought I just threw the game away because my queen's attacked and my pawn is attacked on d4. And if I have to move my queen, he'll take on d4, I'll be down a pawn. But then I realize I have a counterattack in this position. I don't have to move my queen. I can play a different move. I play pawn to d3, counterattacking his queen on c2. And I'm achieving this nice pawn formation, pawns on c4 and d3. If he takes my queen, I'll take his queen, and then it's a very chaotic situation. So I put the ball back in his court, and he decides to move his queen to c3. And at this point, I thought I'm doing decently well because I have my pawn in d3. I can move my queen. I'm still nervous. I'm still trying to figure out where my queen should go. Time is getting lower. I play queen c5. You can see the eval bar. Engine says it's very close to equal. But this is a very imbalanced position. I'm down a pawn. White has a bishop pair. But my pawns are looking pretty magnificent. And yeah, the pressure is just heating up, with both of us getting much lower on time. He plays pawn a4. And this is actually a very strong move because his a pawn is ready to storm down the board. His f1 rook can come to a1. I'm trying to create counterplay in the center. I attack his bishop. He moves it to e4. And yeah, it's really tricky to figure out what exactly is going on here. But I knew I had to still keep the tempo. I played knight to c6, trying to discourage his pawn from moving to a5. Plays rook b5. I play queen d6, saving my queen. He plays bishop g3. I move back to d7. So he's improving his pieces while I had to retreat. But I'm still trying to keep everything stable. He plays pawn h3. I play rook d8. Plays rook a1. And now I really don't see a plan for myself. I really want to advance my d-pawn, but it can only go so far. See, the game behind us finishes, so all the focus is on my game. I feel the added pressure of Benjamin Bach watching in the background. I play f5, which is maybe somewhat weakening. I get my queen to f7, supporting c4. He plays a5, I play d2. I really want to queen my d-pawn, but he's controlling d1 multiple times. He plays a6, I play rook d3, he plays queen c2. And my d-pawn just can't effectively queen. I try and chuck another pawn to create some threats, align my bishop with his queen, he moves back to d1. I play pawn g5, he simply retreats. I play rook f8, I'm trying to set up bishop h3 tactics, but I hang a knight in the process. And now, oh no, my knight. Oh no, my position. Everything is crumbling. Rook b7, queen c5, bishop f3. His bishops are so godlike. And my attempt at breaking through is just not working at all. I try and cover the back rank, but yeah, his rook on b8 is guiding the way for the pawn. He saves his queen. I was trying to keep the game going. He queens. I take the thing, but I drop a piece, literally and figuratively. And then I think I flagged or resigned. So that was a game. Fabiano got his revenge. We both smiled afterwards. It was a fun game. I think this is like a very good fight overall, definitely at some point in the middle game, especially after I played this d4 move, I think I had some momentum in my favor, but Fabiano just resisted really well, was able to maintain control, and just played better from that point onwards. After d4, he blockaded my pawns, and there's only so much I could do. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this game as well. I have to get some sleep. I'm recording this from New York. The World Rapid Blitz Championship starts tomorrow, so hopefully this was a good warm up. And yeah, stay tuned for content from New York City, and I'll see you guys soon.